pasa, cabrón? Maybe you started out as the awkward guy who wasn't very attractive, was too shy to talk to anybody, and really just got no girls. But you were on self-improvement and on your looks maxing journey for a while. You actually started to notice some gains, and you actually managed to attract yourself a girlfriend.
Yay, I'm not a virgin anymore. She's an 11 out of 10. This is so much fun, yeah.
So you start spending all your time with her. You start thinking about her all the time. You're cuddling your pillow, falling asleep thinking about her. You even start forgetting about your goals because you're spending so much time with her. That's when you start to notice that she doesn't seem as attracted to you anymore. She's not coming to see you as often. She's taking a lot longer to reply than she normally does. And not to be too vulgar, but she's not even getting as wet for you anymore in bed. That realization that the person that you love is less attracted to you than they used to be fucking hurts. But you can prevent this from ever happening to your relationship as long as you avoid these 3 common mistakes. My name's Blake, and I help young men transform their lives so they can find their future wives. If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram, link in the description below. Also, comment down below what you think of the new cut. It's looking absolutely fresh. Yeah, I know. So a subscriber reached out to me and he was asking how he can maintain his relationship and maintain working on his goals and stuff when he's in a relationship and keep his self-improvement going, while also maintaining a healthy relationship. And it got me thinking. Now, I'm no expert. This channel is just me showing you my mistakes and the things I did right and showing you how you can avoid the mistakes yourself. But I'd like to think that I may know a thing or two about this. Now, it's not exactly about being perfect because obviously, like when you're dating and stuff, it's just like self-improvement. You're going to make some mistakes. You're not going to be, perfect all the time. There are going to be times where you do make one of these mistakes or something like that. But as long as you can become consciously aware of it and get ahead of it now, then you're going to be a lot better off in the future and your relationship is going to go that much further. The main problem is that these are common mistakes in dating, but especially with people on self-improvement. The thing is, like, when you get on self-improvement, you're obviously working on yourself, working towards your goals, but as soon as you start to attract a girl, you like settle down and you immediately forget about all the things that you did that originally made you attractive. And this is where it's going to cause these 3 mistakes to happen. The first one is going to be that you become depolarized. See, polarization is the initial attraction and tension that you create in a relationship. Most of the time it's going to be you on the masculine role and her on the feminine role, way opposite on the ends of the spectrum. What depolarization is when one of you kind of meet in the middle and maybe you're more in your feminine or she's more in her masculine, and you start to have like this weird kind of dynamic where neither of you are particularly masculine or feminine, and it's because kind of this like blurry kind of gray line, undefined, where both of you will play both roles in a relationship. A lot of times this is because you stop doing what made you attractive in the first place. Maybe you were going to the gym all the time, you're going to your fighting gym all the time, you're working hard on your business, whatever it may be, and then when you get into a relationship, all of a sudden you stop doing that. She wants to spend time with you, so you drop what you're doing and immediately go spend time with her. You're free, you're available 24/7, you're replying right away basically. You're just not busy, you're giving her all your attention, all your time. Even though she says she wants that, that's when you start to become too familiar with each other and you know exactly like what's going on with that person. You don't have time to kind of fantasize about that person and she doesn't have time to fantasize about you. You guys start just knowing each other a little bit too well. And you think that's a good thing. That's what everybody tells you, but that is actually what is killing your relationship. You need to have space. Like maybe you guys go on a date and have a really good time, and then you need to have space after that where you can just actually like process what happened on the date, process the feelings that you got, and how that person makes you feel. It's a classic quote, but it's classic for a reason. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And this is especially true because like it's not, you don't fall in love when you're with the person. You fall in love when you're away from them and you think about like the way they make you feel when you're together. Love is created when you start missing their presence. So when you're not around her, that's when she'll start to like develop feelings for you and start deeply falling in love with you, because she's starting to think of like how good you make her feel when you're around. So your absence just makes her want you around that much more. This is where the second mistake comes into play, because the second mistake is going to be that you're too needy. If you're too needy, it's because all your thoughts revolve around her. You're thinking about her 24/7, cuddling your pillow, thinking about her at night, and you're not really thinking about like your bigger goals and your biggest purpose. You're starting to forget about that. Like if she doesn't text back in 5 minutes, you start freaking out, you start double texting, especially with guys on self-improvement. You haven't been attracting girls, so now that you finally have, you got this girl, now you want to be around her 24/7. You're starting to pedestalize her because it's like the greatest thing that happened. You're finally with this girl that's what you've been wanting all along, but then all of a sudden it becomes too much of a good thing, becomes a bad thing. Again, you're not doing any of the things that made you attractive in the first place. You're not aligned to your highest purpose. It talks about this in the book The Way of the Superior Man, but she does not want to be your number one priority. She might not even realize that she doesn't want to be number one, but she doesn't want to be your number one priority. She wants to be like, up there, but she doesn't want to be number one, because what number one has to be is your highest purpose, like your highest goal. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's the gym or something like that. Like, show that you're working towards something, because when a woman falls in love with you, she falls in love with two parts of you. First off, she falls in love with the person that you are, but the second part is the person that you're becoming. She sees that you're working towards your goals. She sees that you're working on your physique, and she respects it. She sees that you're going somewhere. You show that you have high ambitions, that you're going places. So when you get into a relationship and all of a sudden you stop doing that stuff, it's like you're showing her, like, this is it. This is the highest peak of my life. You're stopping here. You're settling. You're cashing in your chips, right? And she doesn't want that. She wants you to be ambitious, improve your guys' lives in general, not just settle for less. She needs you to be constantly searching for new ways to improve yourself and improve your guys' situation, right? So never lose sight of your purpose or your biggest goals. That's why it's so important to write your goals down, which these are my monthly goals. And even though, might not hit some of them, like we hit 200 subscribers, shout out to everybody that subscribed. And if you're not, go ahead and subscribe. But some of them we haven't hit, like, 9+ videos. I wasn't able to hit that because, life's been busy. I've been prepping for my fight, but 200, we've hit that. Fight conditioning on point, like, we've hit that. Una sorpresa para mi novia coming soon, baby. If you're watching this, dame un beso. But like 5 course sales, we didn't hit that, but I got the first course sale, so that's like already a big step in the right direction, you know what I mean? So it's just constantly like improving these things and just being aligned to your purpose. Like, when I think about my girl throughout the day, I think, like, I really love this girl. Let me think of ways I can improve myself, get back on my purpose, so I can become the best man that I can possibly be for her. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thoughts, like, if she does come up, that you should be thinking about, not obsessively thinking about her throughout the day. And this third piece of advice is going to be something that goes against probably all the modern dating advice you probably heard in all the videos. Top 10 ways to become attracted, blah, 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 whatever. And that third mistake is going to be that you start acting like friends instead of lovers. I talked about this in a recent video, but it really needs to be said, like, again and again, because like the modern dating device tells you, like, oh, you should be best friends. It's so good. Like, they should be the best friend that you have, blah, blah, blah. But that's completely bullshit. Like, that's not true at all. Like, do you really think a masculine man and his feminine woman should be, like, basically she's gossiping to him about, like, certain stuff and like how she would to her friends? No, because that's just gonna ruin the dynamic. Think about it when you're at work versus with your friends. Like, at work, you're all professional and stuff, and you talk to people differently than when you're with your friends. You can be chill, you can be more like, let more of your, like, lose your kind of personality out. It's the same thing with, well, not exactly the same thing, because you're not like being all professional with your girl, but in the sense that you talk differently with your girl versus how you talk with your friends. Like, you should not think of her as, like, your best friend. You should think of her as your lover. Oh, come over and, like, watch a movie. Yeah, we know what that means, but you're never just gonna come over and watch a movie and actually just, like, sit there and watch it like you would with, like, your friend. Like, oh, what'd you think of the movie, blah, blah, blah. If you're with your girl and you guys are actually, like, polarized, that movie's not gonna be watched in the first place. You know what I mean? You know exactly what's going on. A lot of guys end up doing that, like, where they get with the girl, they think they have the girl, so they start settling. They stop acting like they need to attract the girl, so they stop getting her flowers, they stop doing all this other stuff. And, by the way, that's not simping. Like, if a girl's actually attracted to you, doing all this stuff, like, showing her that you're attracted is not simping. That's just how relationships work. You can't stop doing the things like getting her flowers, telling her how pretty she is, or how happy she makes you, or just doing these random things, right? When you're in a relationship, you really have two options of the kind of couple that you want to be. You can be like the couple that really just can't keep their hands off each other, trying to tear their clothes off, blah, 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 whatever, like, just absolutely wild stuff, doing crazy stuff together. Or you can be the couple that's stuck in a dead bedroom. They watch a movie every night, but they don't really keep up the romance. They're not really, like, intimate like that. And maybe they have sex, but it's not really, like, actual, like, making love. It's just kind of, mechanical, boring, kind of, just pump and dump kind of sex. It's not really, there's no passion with it, and they just lose the passion of their relationship. You can choose which one you want to go down, and You know, obviously the choice is clear. You want to go be the passionate couple, the wild couple, but in order to do that, you have to make sure that you're avoiding these mistakes and you're constantly working on yourself. Which, if you want to become the most attractive version of yourself that you possibly can, and you want to learn how to get better with women, you can check out my looks maxing course in the description below, because it covers like how to make yourself most attractive, and it also has bonus dating modules that teaches you how to interact with women, how to get good with women. And if that's something that you struggle with, this could literally quite possibly change your life. Also, subscribe for more videos like this and follow me on Instagram, linked in the description below. With that being said, remember, be better than you were yesterday. The first one is going to be that